So today I decided I was gonna film a video talking about all of my quarantine favourites. I never film favourites videos. Do people even do favourites videos anymore? I swear in like 2015 people used to upload them like every single month. But I thought it might be kind of useful to talk about things I've been enjoying in quarantine because obviously it's kind of boring right now. I have 8 categories, so I've got TV shows, drinks, activities, technology, music, books, films and podcasts. So I'm going to start with TV shows. So the first one is one I've literally spoken about I think in almost every single video. That's Grey's Anatomy. We're just about to finish season 16, which I think is the last season, but I'm pretty sure they're still filming more. It's obviously very long, so it will take a while if you're bored. If you don't know anything about Grey's Anatomy, it's basically just set in a hospital and it's basically just all about the surgeons in the hospital. But I would say that it's very emotionally draining. Like I used to literally cry every single episode. It's really sad, but I would definitely recommend it. It's such a good TV show. My next TV show is The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Netflix just put up the first 2 seasons of it and I just finished them and it was really good. Sometimes I do watch it and I'm like, this is kind of stupid, but it's really entertaining. It's basically just about a group of, I think it's 6 women who all are like super rich and live in Beverly Hills, and it's really good. I think I'm gonna start Real Housewives of New York next. Also my voice keeps cracking. The next one is one that Danny and I just started watching and it's The Office. Obviously it feels like everyone knows about The Office, but I'd never seen it before. We're just on season 3 I think now. It really did not take us long to get through it at all, but I really like it. My last TV show is Montalbano. It's a Italian detective TV show. It's in Italian, so I obviously have to read the subtitles. Unfortunately I can't speak Italian. We're watching this on BBC iPlayer. The episodes are really long. I think they're like an hour and a half, so it's kind of like watching a film, and we don't watch them like in order. We just like slide around an episode and watch it. But it's really good, so if you're looking for something maybe that's in a different language, maybe you're trying to learn Italian, I would recommend Montalbano. Okay, my next category is drinks. So I only have one drink and it's ginger tea. I started drinking this just before lockdown and I'm gonna be honest, ginger tea itself like actually kind of tastes disgusting. Like it has a really horrible taste to it, but I basically add orange squash to it and it tastes really good. It basically just tastes like hot orange squash, and I always feel really healthy drinking it because it's like really good for you. Even though I add orange squash, so I'm pretty sure that like makes it unhealthy. My next category is activities. So the first one that we've been doing literally so much is baking. I think we've been baking like every 3rd day or something like that. Obviously it's not the healthiest because we have like cakes and cookies lying about all the time, but it's really fun. Danny and I have been doing it together and I've really been enjoying it. I always loved baking, except I was literally always terrible at it. It was like one of those things that I loved doing, but it went wrong every single time I did it. But I think we've actually kind of mastered it, so see us on Bake Off. The next thing I've been doing is painting. I had not painted in quite a few years, and then in lockdown I just started again and I've really been loving doing it. I find it a nice distraction from just everything. The only thing I would say is I'm kind of a perfectionist, so I get like stressed out if I don't like the paintings. The first one I did, I was like, wow, Juliet, you're amazing at painting, this is so good. And then every single other painting I've done since, I'm like, what even is this? So now every time I do a painting, I'm trying my best not to get too upset about it if it doesn't look exactly how I wanted it to. My next one goes along the same creative theme as painting, but I've basically been designing a lot of clothes recently and drawing. I'm really interested in fashion and I'm just really enjoying like designing clothes right now. And it was always something I just feel as though I never set out time to do, even if I wanted to. My last activity that I've been doing, this is gonna sound kind of weird, but I've basically been like trying to make my Instagram look nice and like have an Instagram theme kind of. Sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, I don't enjoy it because I get really stressed if the photos don't turn out well. So even though this has actually been stressing me out a lot, it's also been taking up a lot of time and it gives me something to like do and focus on. Now I'm gonna go on to technology. So my first thing is my camera that I'm filming on right now. I bought this camera maybe like a month or 2 ago. It was quite expensive. It's the Canon G7X Mark II and I've literally been wanting it for so long. So I'm really happy I got it. It's really good. It's just such good quality. My other camera was good, but I couldn't like vlog on it or anything. And the fact that I can see myself, like I'm literally looking at myself right now, is that just not crazy? I think I've been like overdoing the vlog. So like I literally like every week I'm like, oh my god, I need to film another vlog because I just love that I can vlog in this camera. My next piece of technology are these earphones that Danny got me for my birthday. They're these JLab like sport earphones. So they just look like this and they're Bluetooth. I've never had Bluetooth earphones before and I just love how handy they are. But these are really cool. You can like touch them and they'll like turn the volume up and skip songs and pause and stuff like that. So I've really been loving these and I cannot wait until I can go to the gym and like have my sports earphones in and feel so sophisticated and feel like I know what I'm doing. I'm sitting on my feet and they hurt so bad. My next category is music. So my first album is Eye of the Storm by Tidelines. It's their new album. If you haven't heard of Tidelines before, they're basically a Scottish band and they're really good, and I have seen them live quite a few times. I was actually meant to see them live like last week, but obviously got cancelled because of everything. But the new album's really good. My favourite songs are Fading Hours, Innocent and Beautiful, and Heroes, but Heroes came out a while ago, so I already did about that one. The next album that I've been listening to a lot is Wiped Out by The Neighbourhood. I think this album actually came out in like 2015, but I'm not really the kind of person to like sit through a whole album, which I've been trying to do recently because obviously like I can't listen to all the songs if I don't sit through the whole album. So I listened to that one, I really liked it. My favourite songs are R.I.P. to My Youth, which I knew about before. I love that song so much. It's actually the only song that's been featured in both of my playlist videos, so I guess that shows how much I like it. And I really like Single, Pray, what other ones? Yeah, I think those are my favourite ones, but I really like that album. Now I'm gonna go on to books. So I only have one book to talk about, and it's Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas by Hunter S. Thompson. I actually started reading this book last summer when I was in Sicily, but I never finished it, so I've been trying to pick it up again, and I really like this book. It's really good. It's basically about this journalist who is going to Las Vegas, and basically the whole book is about drugs, but it's actually really good, and I actually think it might be a true story. Like when I was reading this I was like, this cannot be a true story, like are you serious? But I swear I saw somewhere that it actually is, but I haven't finished it yet. I have that much left, but I'm really liking this so far. There is a film of this which has Johnny Depp in it, which I'm gonna watch once I finish this. I have been reading another book in quarantine called The Hunting Party, which the camera's actually sitting on top of right now, but I wasn't gonna like recommend it. It's not that good to me. I imagine it would be the kind of book you like pick up at an airport and like take on a holiday with you and like read a few chapters every day by the pool and stuff. I've never had a holiday like that, so I don't actually know if that's what people do, but that's what I imagine people would do with this book. It's not bad, but it's just like not the best written book, and it's kind of a generic storyline. Like it's basically about a big group of people going to a house and then one of them dies, and it's like, oh my god, who did it? I'm not that far into it though, so I've kind of just been like picking it up and like reading like a chapter or two, but it's okay. Now I'm gonna go into films. I haven't actually watched that many films during quarantine that like I've really liked. I feel as though I'm actually really fussy with films, but I have 3 here which I've enjoyed. So the first one is 1917. We watched this a couple of weeks ago. I thought it was so good. I've obviously heard a lot about this because it won like a lot of awards. I just thought it was so well done. It's set in World War II. No, oh my god. It's set in World War One, obviously 1917. Literally like half the film feels as though it's been taken in one shot. Like I thought it was crazy. The next 2 films I've watched are both by Quentin Tarantino. Obviously he's an amazing director, and I've been trying to like get through all of his films because I really like them. So we watched Django and Inglourious Basterds. I really feel as though I'm going to describe these films so badly, but Django is basically set in the South in America, and it's about this guy who's like okay, I'm gonna find like a summary of the films. When Django, a slave, is freed, he joins forces with a bounty hunter to rescue his wife, who's been captured by a hard-hearted plantation owner. Next is Inglourious Basterds. Let me find a description of this too. A few Jewish soldiers are on an undercover mission to bring down the Nazi government and put an end to the war. Meanwhile, a woman wants to avenge the death of her family from a German officer. I thought this was such a good film. I think this is probably my favourite Tarantino film. And now I'm going to go into podcasts. So I have 3 here. The first one is The Girl's Bathroom, which is by Sophia and Chintzio. I'm sure everyone's heard of them. And they basically do like 1 week they do boy talk and 1 week they do girl talk. So it's basically like an advice kind of podcast. Some of the stories people write in, I'm like, oh my god, I'm so glad that that is not me, but this is a really good podcast, really entertaining. The next podcast is Hanging with the Hembrows which is by Tammy Hembow and her two sisters Emily and Amy, and I love this one. They kind of talk about like different topics each week and they're all really funny. I used to listen to this at the gym and I like would have to turn it off because I just would start laughing. Like I'd literally be like on the treadmill laughing because the podcast was so funny, so I had to stop that. Then the last podcast and the last thing I'm going to talk about is We Bought a House, which is by Claudia Slutsky and her boyfriend Phineas. They also kind of just talk about like random things every week, like about things that have happened during the week, but that's a really good podcast as well. So that was everything I have to talk about. I just thought it could be useful for some people. But yeah, I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video and I will see you in my next one.